What's up guys, welcome back to this YouTube video. How to catch 500 pips on NAS every time. Also, how to just trade NAS once a day successfully. Obviously, disclaimer, it's not going to be 100% success rate. Nothing in trading is 100% success rate. It's always catching more pips than losing pips. So you want to end the week with more pips caught, more pips in profit than pips in negative. Okay, so let's quickly go through it, guys. We're going to remember a few things. Let's list it for you just so that you are with me. Number one, break of a low or high during a news spike. Okay, so a news spike can also include like New York Open. Okay, so that's we're mostly trading during a news spike like NFP, CPI, New York Opens, stuff like that when NAS is more active. Okay, then secondly, mark out order block and or fair value gap. Okay, basically the most important thing to remember. And then we're just going to add the risk management, because that's important. Always risk management. So let's look at this. Okay, so this was today on Monday the 4th of March 2024. We're going to wait for the news spike to happen. So that's usually when New York Open kicks in. So that is South African time, 4:30 in the afternoon. But you can set your alarm anytime to New York here. Let's find New York quickly. Where would New York be? There's New York, which is then at 9:30 New York time. So 9:30 New York time is when it opens, but South African time it is +2, which is 4:30. Okay, so you can just go set it there at the bottom right. You guys can't see it now behind my face, but just here next to it there's a little place where you can change the times. Okay, so now we're going to mark out the highs before New York and the lows before New York, which will be, let me just double check this. Yeah, that would be the low over there. Okay, so even if you chose this high, it still should be correct. Or if you chose that high, it should still be correct. Like, there's no right or wrong way completely with choosing highs or lows. Just something that you need to have a consistent method of your own highs and lows and just stick with it. Okay, so at 1630 NASDAQ broke through this low, came back up, and this is where we need to mark out our order block and our fair value gap. So this is our order block over here. I'm just going to pull it all the way to the right. And if you zoom in very closely, you will see a tiny fair value gap over there. A very, very tiny one. Okay, I'm going to make it red. Just there. But that doesn't matter too much. We still got the order block in there, which is perfect. Okay. So there's two types of people out there. Some like trading the order block at the 50% level, and some trade the order block when it hits the bottom of the order block. It's up to you. You need to choose which one you like the most. Go back test and see which one you like the most. If you want the 50%, just grab the Fibonacci, put it from the high to the low of the order block, and your 50% level would be in the middle of it right there. So you can like kind of, if I just left it there, it would have been like roughly there. Okay, so you can choose which one you want to do. I usually like when it touches the order block at the bottom like that. That's when I will enter. So let's stick with that for now. But either way, both of them is correct. Okay. So now we will enter it, put your sell in over there, place your TP at 500 pips. I'm going to place it at 500 pips over there. And I will put my stop loss just above that high over there. So my stop loss will be like, let's say 120 pips, round it up to a nice number. So now don't put your stop loss to break even too quickly. Leave it. I'm a firm believer of leaving your stop loss in to where it must be and not touching it, because stuff like this will happen. You will see now. It came touched, you are in your sell, almost hit TP, came again, touched, didn't hit stop loss, but went almost to TP again. But if you drag it all the way to the right, you will see your TP was hit. Perfect. And your stop loss was still fine. So TP hit. Great trade. 500 pip TP, 120 pip stop loss, which is great risk to reward ratio. You have to hit like 3 stop losses and only hit 1 TP to still make more money than the loss. That's why I'm saying, guys, always put your stop loss in, and if it hits, move on to the next day. Okay. So let's go back until this trade on Friday, on the 1st of March. We're going to mark out our low over here. And we're going to mark out our high over here. New York happened. It shot through here to the high. So now we're going to look for buys. Our order block is there. Order block there. And now we have a fair value gap over here. Okay, let's change it to green. So now you can see the fair value gap was hit and fulfilled. The order of the fair value gap was fulfilled. Usually when the fair value gap is a little bit larger, or the same size or a little bit larger than the order block, the fair value gap is a good entry to take. But I would still place my stop loss just below the order block like that. So let's quickly check. 50% into the fair value gap. With fair value gaps, I always use a 50% inside. I'm just going to guess it now, but 50% is half of this block here, okay? So that is your entry point. 500 pips up is there, and your stop loss would be just below, let's say that low, just to be safe. So 160 pips to 150 to 500 pips TP, which is still a great trade, still a great risk to reward. If you want to use this other tool, you can use this one as well. So let's say like that. Like that. That's still a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which is a great trade. 500 pips every time, guys. 500 pips every time. Okay. Let's go to a new spike. This happened an hour before New York open. Let's put it there. So now we're going to mark out the high. Usually when there's a new spike, right, before New York open, we're going to keep the new spike. We're going to look at the new spike as the entry point, not as the new. We're not going to look at New York open anymore as the entry point. We're going to look at this new spike. This is going to be our reference point, okay? So now you would have a little order block down there, but this fair value gap is huge. This is where we're going to try and aim for an entry, right? So we're going to put that down there, move it to the right, and we're going to 50% this fair value gap, which is right. I mean, it's a pip away, but it's right on the 50% area there of the fair value gap for your entry, which is a great trade, in my opinion. If you're not always certain, remember with spreads and stuff anyway, you'll have to move up your entry by a few pips anyway. Okay, so now you will see if we use this tool again, we will have our stop loss just below this order block, like that, 400, and you will get your 500 pips there. This time risk to reward of 1 to 1 to 1.25. Still find a little bit less reward than what we used to, but still a healthy trade to take. If you are unsure, you can always move your stop loss a little bit up. But with these large fair value gaps, this is where we will want to enter. If you are a little bit more of a sniper person, if you know that this is there, but you're not super certain about it, you can always go down on the 1 minute. Mark a little high over there. Wait for it to break. It came down into this order block. And you can place your entry right there instead of taking this big order block. This big fair value gap over there. So you still can do this. You can always go down and zoom in and do another entry. Usually NAS gives you another entry. So guys, that's how you trade NASDAQ and get that pips that you need to pass your funded account challenge or just trade your own accounts. Guys, if you will like funded account challenges, prop firm challenges, I highly suggest check out Blue Guardian, link in my bio. So far, the best prop firm I've ever used. And they are just like, they don't have any weird rules. They always pay out. I've never heard any problems from anyone else as well. So yeah, check them out, guys. And I hope you have a great day. And I hope this video helps you guys a lot with your trading. Cool.